Hey there! Today we're going to be talking about this pen, and I left it in the box, but trust me, I'm going to show you the pen. It is an Otto Hutt. I contacted Joost Appelboom and I said, Joost, I've never reviewed an Otto Hutt, and he said, give me a minute. And then a couple days later I got a message from him on WhatsApp. We have sprightly WhatsApp conversations. And he said, okay, so apparently Otto Hutt is sending me 4 pens for you to review. And I said, Joost, and he said, Stephen, and I said, my man, and he said, my man, and I said, this is what I'm talking about. He said, I know. So here we have the Otto Hutt. We are going to be talking about this one. There are 3 more Otto Hutt reviews to follow. I got 2 of the relatively more affordable Otto Hutt models, which is a relative thing when you talk about fountain pens, and then I got 2 of the more expensive Otto Hutt models, one of which is really quite expensive, almost €1,000, so it should be something fun to look forward to. I'll cover the parts of the pen, I'll do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Okay, let's have a convo, that means conversation, about this pen, Otto Hutt company from Germany since 1920. This is the number 6 in lilac. You get this cardboard outer sleeve, then you get the actual box, which is cardboard, and I will say remarkably sturdy. It's hard to compress this. High quality box. And then you have the pen, which comes in its little pen condom. And then here we have a little placeholder, fake cartridge. And then at the bottom you get a polishing cloth, which I have not unpacked simply because I have to send these back. There is a little booklet with filling instructions, und so weiter, as we say in show business. And then here we have the warranty card, and then there is of course the converter. Let's have a look at the pen. I'm going to try to put this away. Here we have the pen. So this is the number 6. The Otto Hutt models are all called design, and they have a number. This is design 06. There are multiple finishes available. A lot of the Otto Hutt pens are Bauhaus inspired. This one has a wonderful description: a renowned original meets innovation. Let that sink in. The nib options are extra fine through broad in stainless steel or extra fine through broad in 18 karat gold. In that case you have to add €115.70 for the gold nib upgrade. The pen itself is €148.76. Now, if you like it, don't forget that if you click the Appelboom banner on my website, you get a 10% discount. Multiple finishes available. This one is lilac, and I thought it was quite a pleasant color. It looks a little off-white at first, but when you really look at it, you see it's not white, but it is actually lilac. Okay, here's the pen right next to a Pilot Metropolitan, a little longer and a bit girthier. And let's have a look at the parts of this pen. So the finial on top has the Otto Hutt logo, and I must say I really like it. The O and then I have to approach this from a math perspective, given sign and then the H, I think it's nice, OH. The red light there, it's not, you're not losing it, that's just my camera. Okay, then we have the clip. The clip is well designed and it's spring-loaded. Now, I love me a spring-loaded clip because they tend to not bend. I really like that. Of course, if you take this and you really push it, then yes, I know it will bend, but I mean, if you operate it the way it should, it's really cool. Here we have Otto Hutt on the center band, and on the back we have Germany. Yeah. Then we have a cap that tapers down nicely and a barrel that is fairly girthy and tapers down to a very refined end, and another very shiny bit at the end there. The pen uncaps very easily. I'll come back to that. It's half a turn really. And here we have the nib. This looks like number 5. It is a two-tone nib, but this is the steel, not gold. We have a nice refined section that tapers down and flares out. A nice plastic feed, and in this case the pen is fed by a cartridge that came with the pen, so I can't tell you what ink this is. It's something that Otto Hutt supplies with the pen. If you so desire, this pen can be posted very securely, and you have a very nice size of pen. Why don't we have a look at how the pen writes? So we have here Otto Hutt, design 06. We have here a fine nib in steel, and we have some sort of blue ink that came with the pen. Again, I don't know what ink it is. I'll write a bit with it posted so you can kind of get a feel for that, and apologies, let me zoom out a bit. I will say this about the nib: this is an exceptionally smooth steel nib. This reminds me certainly of Faber-Castell steel nibs, or even St. Dupont nibs. Very, very smooth, and especially steel, very nice. That even the inexpensive, relatively speaking, nib option is this smooth. It is beautifully adjusted, not too wet, not too dry, nice rich flow without gushing too much, and you can even squeeze out a bit of line variation very carefully, though it is not a flex nib. This pen is not really able to do reverse writing, because as you can see, the writing kind of phases in and out and gets dry really quickly. As to the posting, as all this is metal, at least it really feels to me like it's metal because it is quite heavy. The posting does make the pen fairly top heavy, so be aware of that if you love posting. Why don't we have a chat about what I like and what I don't like about this pen? What do I like? What do I not like about this Otto Hutt number 6 or design 06 in lilac? There's a couple of things I really like. Spring-loaded clips, I always love. Metal pen gives a very solid feel in hand, which is something I really like. I like the overall design. The first thing I thought when I saw this was, it reminds me a bit of some of the Waterman pens, like the Hemisphere. I'm not saying anything about ripping off. I'm just saying that's kind of what it reminded me of, but a little girthier. And that's always been my issue with the Hemisphere. I love the shape, but it's a bit thin for me personally. So I like that. Because of the metal, very comfortable weight, secure posting to give it even more heft in hand. Very, very nice. I can't speak highly enough of these nibs. Very pleasant writers. Steel nib, absolutely lovely. I would not need a gold nib upgrade with this quality of steel nib. So that, I think, is very, very nice. Forgive me for looking down, but my notes are here. I also love you get a very complete package with a cloth, with the converter with the cartridge. Everything is included. The cloth is a nice touch. It's a small thing, but it shows that care has been taken into putting together that package. Things I don't like so much, there are only two things. Price is always, I mean, it's about 150 euros, steel nib. Some people would find that too much. Sure, and other people would say, no, that's perfectly fine. So I don't really want to get into that. For this pen, I don't think it is a terrible price, especially given that it is such a wonderful writer. I think that is really, really nice. Okay, more objective in my mind, I find the section quite small. Your mileage may vary, of course, but for me it is small. I mean, look at the size of my fingertip, and then that section. I find it small. It helps that you can post it so securely, but the section remains small and relatively thin. In my mind, the biggest issue with this pen is how it uncaps. It only takes half a turn, and that means that if I lightly brush it, I'm sure it's not going to work on camera, but if I lightly brush it, it's already uncapped. So depending on how you carry your pens, be aware of that. This is not something I would put in a pants pocket. I probably wouldn't do that with a pen of this price anyway, but some people, that's how they carry their pens. No problem, I'm just saying, I wouldn't do that. I've also seen people slip a pen into a dress shirt. I wouldn't do it, because the lightest touch and this thing comes undone and it'll be in your shirt and there will be ink everywhere. So that's really all it takes, right? That is my biggest issue. Now, that may not be an issue for you depending on how you carry and use your pens. If you use pen cases, if you're just careful, it should be fine. I would not be surprised the way I carry pens in a pen case that I would open up my pen case and just because it was in a bag, the cap has come off. Because it does not take much. Having said that, a nice package, a great writer. I think it's a very nice pen. So if you want one, don't forget the Appelboom discount by clicking the banner on my website. A very kind thank you to Otto Hutt for lending me the pen. I appreciate it. I hope this was useful and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.